Hey guys, it's Davin here at Brewbitz.com. Behind the camera we've got James. Say hello, James. Now, a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine gave me this out of their cupboard and said, can I do anything with this? Is it still okay? Well, back to me, James, because I can tell you, I haven't seen a Cooper's ginger beer kit that looks like this for a long time. And I looked at the can and it was dusty and look at this. This is such an old yeast. So I looked at the best before date on the bottom, and there, if you can see this, James, is coming out the 6th of June 2015. Oh my God, 2015. Just a few years out of date. It's 2024 right now. So I thought, I don't really like ginger beer, but there's a local cider maker near us called Honey's in a little area called Midford. So if you're ever in Frome on the Frome supermarket, which is the first Sunday of every month, then you'll probably find Honey's Cider, a stall somewhere around, selling something called stony bonk. Now, stony bonk is a mixture of real good scrumpy cider and ginger beer. And it tastes amazing, nice and cold. It is such a refreshing drink. It's got that hit of ginger, it's got that lovely base of cider, and it goes really, really well together. So I thought, why don't I make something like that? So I'm going to try it with this. I'm going to open it up first and see if it's still any good. I can tell you the yeast is pretty much gone. Okay, but if you want to have a go at this, then we do a ginger beer kit by Simply, and that's going to hopefully work just as good as this. And if this turns out not to be any good once I open the can, I'm going to start making it with a Simply ginger beer. So I'll leave that there for the moment. But the other thing I'm going to make it with is a John Bull country cider kit. So this is going to be the base of the cider. That's going to add all the spice and ginger flavours, and we're going to hopefully have a cider ginger beer that's going to be a little bit like something that Honey's make called stony bonk. Let's check to see if this is still going to be okay. Oh, it's had a bit of a few bashes, I can tell you that. There we go. There's another one over here. Yes, we got it. Let's get a knife in a second. Out the way, there you go, James. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Really strong smell of... Wow, that is amazingly strong ginger smell. Go on, shall we have a taster? Oh, wow, that is... Oh my God. Oh, I think that's going to be fun to brew. Wow, that is ginger. That is hot. That is hot. Okay. Oh, don't lose the lid. In that goes. Okay. Now, it does say on this to add 1 kilo of sugar. Let's get my hands clean a second. And I know on the cider kit it says to add 1 kilo of sugar, but before I had any sugar, I'm going to bring it up to the 23 litres. That is pretty hot. I'm going to bring it up to the 23 litres, test it with my hydrometer, and see if I need to add any sugar. So that goes in as well. And I'm going to carry on like I normally would, so I'm going to put my kettle on and boil up a couple of litres of boiling water. Okay, so here is 2 litres of boiling water. I'm going to start by pouring some in the bucket. I'm going to keep some back. I'm going to pour some in the cider kit and some in the ginger beer kit. I'm going to quickly take a spoon and gently bring it up the sides. Careful not to splash your hands. And this is so that we can actually just... Oh, the smell is great. It gets quite hot. It's just so that we can recover all the rest of the ginger beer from the inside, you see. Sorry, James, it was a bit quick. Haha, got to be quick with me. Do the same with the cider. Oh, that is hot. that goes in too. See, okay. And then give it a good stir and mix the water, the ginger beer. Oh, I forgot the rest of my water from this one. There we go, I thought it was a bit thick. Oh, the smells, the aromas are fantastic. You've got the apples, you've got the ginger beer, it's coming on really well. Right, so the ginger beer kit is a 17 litre, 32 pints. Normally the John Bull would be a 23 litre or 40 pint. I like brewing the John Bulls slightly short, so I'm going to do this slightly short. So I'm going to bring it up to the 17 litre mark now, which is the 4 gallon mark, somewhere around about here. And that's going to give us about 32 pints. So some nice cold water, float down the inside to top it up. Now I've got it up to 4 gallons, 17 litres. I'm going to give it a good stir and make sure all of that ginger beer and cider concentrate is mixed together with the water. I've taken a sample in my trial jar, and with the hydrometer it's showing me a specific gravity of 1.036. So that's, if it ferments fully to dryness, I would be expecting then an ABV about 5.5%, which I think is going to be quite nice for a cider. And so that goes back in. Don't want to waste any of this. And I know that the yeast in the ginger beer, I say I know, I might do an experiment actually to see if the yeast in the ginger beer is going to be viable. We'll do an experiment. But for now, I'm going to use the yeast and the nutrient that came with the John Bull kit. And I'm just going to pop the nutrient in on top, like so. I'm going to pop the yeast in on top. There we go. I'm going to give the yeast a couple of minutes to hydrate. Back to me, James. And then I'm going to give it a good stir in, so that make sure all the nutrient and the yeast is all combined in. And then I'm going to put the lid on loosely, put this in my warm place at about 18 to 22 degrees C, and I'm going to leave it. I'm hoping that 7 to 10 days should be enough. Now, I know with other ginger beer kits, they can be quite lively, so I'm glad we've got quite a big section of headspace here, so just in case it froths up. But the ginger cider has been sat in my warm cupboard now for 2 weeks. And I checked it at the end of 2 weeks, and the reading was coming out on my hydrometer at 1.006, and I thought, that's a little bit high. I was expecting it to go down to at least 1.000. So I've left it for another few more days, and I've checked it again the second day and the third day, and it stayed exactly the same. So I think that because we're using the ginger beer, which is got malt in it, that is keeping the specific gravity a little bit higher than what we would normally expect as if we'd just done a cider kit and it had dropped it right out. So I'm happy that it stayed at the same gravity now for the last 3 days, 1.006. So I'm ready to move on. So come on in, James, and have a look at this. Because it really did ferment up, it got quite lively, and it's left a load of these little bits of yeast floating around. There's a lot of carbon dioxide. Back to me a second, James. There's a lot of carbon dioxide dissolved in there, and that's holding all these little yeast cells all together. So I'm going to siphon it from this bucket into a sterilised bucket here using a siphon, but so I can trap some of that floating yeast, I'm going to pop one of these onto the end of my siphon. That is a siphon sock. The way I'm going to do that is not as easy as you might think. So I'm going to get that going to start with. Pin that bit there. Now if you had a spare set of hands, it would be a lot more useful. Ooh. Or if you used a auto siphon, so you didn't need to give it a suck. And as I say, if you've got a spare set of hands, it becomes a lot easier. It's flowing already. James is just looking at me and giggling right now. I can tell you that from behind the camera. He's going, there's a knot. I'm trying to get another knot in. There we go. And pop it down to the bucket. Make sure it's right down to the end and get the flow going. See? Even with just one set of hands, you can do it on your own. Okay, and now I'm going to leave this to siphon out all the way out. There's a load of sediment down in the bottom. I can see it at the bottom of the bucket. So I'm going to try and not disturb that sediment when we get down that low. However, we've got some in our trial jar here, and I nearly took the glass with me. Hey. I thought we'd have a little sample, eh? Why not? Oh, why not have a whole lot? It's only a little taster glass. One of my little teensy-weensy cloud water glasses. Lots of ginger. You can smell the cider coming through as well. It does remind me of the Stony Bonk by Midford, so that's good. Colour's alright. I'm hoping it's going to clear a little bit, but we shall see. Oh, that's nice. That is really nice. It's really cold. That's going to be really good. It's got a real nice gentle sweetness to it. Not overly sweet, but it's got a nice gentle sweetness to it. And yeah, that's quite cracking. Cold, I think that will work quite nice. Mould as well then on a hot winter's night. So, but anyway, we'll get to that when we do a tasting. As it gets further and further down the bucket, it's a lot easier to get more out without disturbing the sediment by gently tilting it on its side and trying to keep it as still as possible. And now you'll get even more cider out. I'm going to be bottling my ginger cider because I want it to have a bit of a fizz to it. So the way I like to do it, here I've got 80 grams of sugar, so 20 grams per gallon. I'm just going to literally sprinkle that in with my spoon, give it a good stir. Now, I don't know if you can see, that is really frothed up there. There are some live yeast in there. They are hungry. They want to eat that sugar, and that's what they're doing there. So I need to get bottling quickly so they don't eat all that lovely sugar before I get it in the bottles. I've attached my bottling wand to my bucket, and this is going to allow me to fill the bottles up from the bottom. So there we go. And so you don't get any foam, and as soon as we get to the top, we just lower it down, and it's as easy as that to fill a bottle. Almost there. There we go. Bottle one done. Quite a few more to go. So that's it. I finished bottling my ginger cider. Not too sure what to call it yet, but all I need to do, once I've decided a name for it, make a little fancy label up, put it on, put this into my warm place for a few more days so that the secondary fermentation can happen in the bottle and actually make lots and lots of fizz. Now, I've heard big stories about ginger beer and how it can be quite explosive, so this is why I've put it in plastic bottles. So if it gets a bit too bulgy, I can always just pop the top open and burp it and let a bit of gas out. But I don't think that's going to happen because I've brewed lots of beers and ciders in my time, and I've never had to burp one yet. But that's as simple and easy as that. So we've got our ginger cider. Just to recap, that needs to go into my warm place for another few days, probably a good week, for it to bottle condition. And then I'm going to transfer it somewhere nice and cool so that it can start to clear. It might clear, it might not, I don't know. And then probably in about 3 to 4 weeks I'll pop some in the fridge and pop one open on video and have a taster of a chilled ginger cider. So, the only thing left to do is decide what to call it. If you think of what you want to call this, pop it in the comments down below, and we'll see if we can come up with some funky, interesting labels. But for now, I'm going to finish off this.
Seems a little bit extra. James, do you want that? For now, happy brewing. And as I said to you before, there is no Cooper's ginger beer kits any longer. So I think doing this with a simply ginger beer kit is also going to work absolutely fantastic. So there we go. It's me mixing up a John Bull and an old, really old Cooper's ginger beer kit. And you know what? It's bloody nice.